Welcome to the Spider Cellar. I'm Shayla, and today I'm building the Lord of the Mountain. To start, I've got my foam base, and I'm etching a messy circular shape in the center. Then, using my handheld proxxon hotwire tool, I'm digging out the center, and it's not going very smoothly right now. I've only used this tool once, like maybe a year ago, and apparently don't remember how to use it. If you've ever played The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, or Tears of the Kingdom, and during your playthrough noticed a brilliant beam of light coming from atop of a certain mountain, then you might recognize this scene. You have to wait for a crescent moon, and only during that moon phase will the Lord of the Mountain appear. Follow the beam of light over Satori Mountain and climb to the top, where you'll be greeted by an elegant cherry blossom tree with a shallow pool at its feet. There, you will encounter some green glowing fireflies, maybe some bloopies, and of course, the otherworldly Lord of the Mountain. Now that I have my foam base assembled, I'm using Sculptamold to build the rocky, mountainous landscape, making sure to cover the entire base while forming boulders by adding extra height to the stacked foam. It's a messy process, and this material can initially be difficult to adhere to the foam. However, once it hardens and dries, it is absolutely stuck in place. Though, side note, it takes a few days to fully dry. With that, I have primed the base with black paint and Mod Podge, and will now begin painting the rocky terrain. Although this scene takes place in the mountains, this one in particular, Satori Mountain, is smaller than the other peaks located around Hyrule Ridge. But that doesn't mean this area isn't well concealed. In fact, it feels quite secluded and serene here, like the small pond in the center has carved a cozy pocket into the hills, tucked away from reality and its burdens. Now for the substrate with cherry blossoms. I found these pre-made mini cherry blossoms online about 2 years ago. I was building the Breath of the Wild version of the Deku tree at the time, and they worked so well for that project that I knew I had to use them again. However, some of the clumps are a little too big for the scale, so I'm chopping them up with nail clippers and mixing them in with the original substrate. Next, I'm coating select areas in slightly watered down PVA glue, and then sprinkling the substrate mixture over that space. And just a couple more patches of exactly that. And I'm going to bring the pond's edge inward a little more, since the perimeter of the pond is mostly covered in cherry blossoms anyway. But I think I'll save the water effect for last. Time for static grass! Using my homemade grass tufts, I will go ahead and arrange them on my diorama with a dab of PVA glue on the bottom of each tuft. To make the cherry blossom tree, I've cut strands of wire that will be used to form the armature, the main structure of the trunk and branches. I'll start by twisting 2 strands together and then adding multiple strands one by one, continuing to twist the middle of the trunk and leaving the last few inches of wire untwisted. To form the branches, I like to twist the top strands in pairs, creating the main limbs from the trunk. I will also add in some thinner wire to create twiggy offshoots that add to the tree's realism. Now that my armature is complete, it's time to put some bark on those bones. My go-to tree bark material is Milliput, a 2-part epoxy putty that, once mixed together, will harden and dry within a few hours. Which means work quickly because you only have a limited amount of time to cover the wire and start carving bark lines. Using some really cheap dental tools, I'm going to add texture to the bark by just scraping up and down the trunk, limbs, and roots. Now that the Milliput has dried, I'm going over the entire tree with a golden brown base color. For the wash, I'm adding a simple dark brown. This is my favorite part of the painting process because I love seeing the carved details come to life. And the dry brushing step. Not as fun as the wash, but still important. Okay, it's time to put the cherry blossoms on the tree. And there are many different ways to achieve that, but for this build, I'm going to break everything down into smaller pieces first. Then, I will attach the wire ends of the snipped pieces to the tree using CA glue. Now to make the Lord of the Mountain, which is really just a horse that I 3D printed with several drops of blue resin dye, and from which I am now using a mini Dremel to remove the muzzle from. Because although this creature has the body of a horse, it is no horse, and it can't be registered at any Hyrule stables. To recreate the ethereal and complicated looking head of this great beast, I'm using Milliput, again, and attempting to sculpt a flowing mane. It took me way too long to realize that the face of Satori appears to resemble 2 owls with their faces pressed against each other side by side, with the wings of each owl flowing from both sides of Satori's face. Now to add paint and some horns. For the backdrop, I want to create a nighttime scene, so I'm going with deeper blues mostly, while adding flecks of purple and red and light gray as I go. You may also notice the array of holes scattered across the center. When night falls on Hyrule, the green glowing fireflies come in droves, which is what I'm hoping to be able to emulate here with this string of LEDs from Evan Designs. With just a bit of green paint, I'm transforming each white LED into a green firefly, which takes a couple coats. With that, I'll go ahead and glue everything down, starting with the tree. And I didn't forget about Link, although I may have forgotten to film him. What's nice about the LEDs from Evan Designs is that they come pre-wired and with a battery pack, making the process quick and easy. After connecting the red wires and the black wires, I will continue by soldering these connections. Like I said earlier, I'm saving the water effects for last. I enjoy using Vallejo water texture, but it does take a few days to fully cure and can be prone to cracking. Alright, so we've made it to the top of Satori Mountain, and now it's time to have a look around. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you want to see me build next time. Until then, bye!